see and map out what we were, or hate to say it, checking us out.
Yeah, there might be some imperative that is making all of these sightings come to a head so quickly here for some reason, and or there might be some kind of a either disclosure campaign or a truth that will be popping out for us, the worldwide public, shorter than we think. It does seem to go in waves since last December when the government, admitted the existence of UFOs, and there has been a little lull, in the last 6 months or so on any new information. So you're wondering, with all the heightened activity of sighting reports and kind of the dearth of any further information from the government, what might be right around the corner.
Well, you went to a thing this past Sunday. I mean, what type of views are you getting from the people that kind of believe in UFOs? What type of vibe are you getting from these people?
Well, Gary, we at the UFOI team spent an entire weekend up in the North Cascades in a small community called Maple Falls, Washington. And there was a festival up there, and we had our booth and we had our table with information about what the UFOI team does, is going out and following up on sighting reports and going to UFO hotspots. And I couldn't believe that how many people came up to our booth and spontaneously wanted to tell us their sighting report of a UFO, strange lights in the sky that were zigzagging, not just streaking across the sky, and close-up sightings as well of craft. And I just got the feeling that up in the North Cascades, at least, people are seeing these all the time. They were not reticent to tell us, and they basically are seeing things on a regular basis. So it shocked the heck out of all of us.
Now, has it did you notice and ask them, has it picked up more in the last year or two than it used to be?
I don't know that I asked that specific question, but I just got the I just got the feeling from these folks who wanted to tell us their stories that they were very, very comfortable with the fact that they see these all the time, and probably have seen these for a long period of time, since some of them actually were from the area, grew up there, lived there their whole lives. They seem to basically tell us that, oh yeah, these things exist and they're all over the place all the time. So that's what we're finding out when we go and investigate these areas. We have town hall meetings wherever we go, and we ask people to come forth and give us their testimony and what they have seen. And it's amazing how many people, probably since the New York Times article confirmed the existence of UFOs, they're coming out of the closets now and being able to talk about it, because they realize if the New York Times and the Department of Defense and Pentagon are talking about it, that they could talk about it now as well.
Any of them talk about being abducted at all this past weekend? Anybody come up to you and said, I was abducted by alien, and give a description of what they look like and how they acted and what happened to them, and, were they experimented on? Anything like that?
Yes, I tell you what is interesting when they tell us their stories. I probably had, throughout the weekend that we were taking testimony, I probably had 3 or 4 stories told to me with glaring reports of missing time. And they haven't gone there in their own mind yet to say, yes, I was abducted, because they don't necessarily remember what happened during that missing time. But people are actually telling us that their relatives were upset at them because they didn't get home on time, or they didn't meet up at a specific moment. And I'm talking probably the average missing time being 2 or 3 hours that were totally missing out of their life. So if we ever had the opportunity to follow up with people like that, we do have certified hypnotherapists that would be willing to do regressive work with people to try to recover those memories of what the heck happened during that period of time that they can't account for during the UFO sighting itself, because they were all tied to seeing an unidentified craft or silent light that came down over their car, those kinds of things.
Now, have you noticed, like I said, I put this thing up on Facebook, and the majority of people were responding to me, not so much, they didn't want to really post it on the Facebook article or thing I put up on Facebook. They, in turn, messaged me, probably because they didn't want their name out there. But
yeah,
the majority of the people that contacted me since last night and all through the day today really have the feeling they're not here to be friendly. At least what some of it's going on anyway. And they're really concerned, and that's what they're concerned about, what's going on with the government. They feel that anytime the government all of a sudden starts emitting something like that, something, well, could be up. And before I thought I was the only one that felt that way. A lot of these people, and I'll be honest with you, I get people, like I've had a lady constantly tell me she wanted to be on my show. She was abducted, that her lover occasionally would come into her bedroom and make love to her at night, and it was an alien. Well, that, or the other one, oh, I'm from planet Z or Xeron or whatever, and my brothers are there, those type of people, they don't end up on the show because, seriously, I don't believe that at all. But, like the report I got from the person in law enforcement and some of the other messages that I've been getting lately, it really, really, has me concerned. And I do have Mr. Meek. Remember I told you about him with Howard Hughes, with his grandfather that invested money on a ranch, and it was called Big Rock. They made a movie on it. Well, he's in Mexico right now, and unfortunately, about 5:00 at night, they turn off their internet. Not him, the provider shuts down the internet at 5:00 at night for some reason. But he's agreed to do a show with me, probably in the next couple of Saturdays from now, that will record it. But he's been on my show twice, and he has a lot to say about UFOs.
I'll bet. That would be very fascinating.
Yeah, I'm just kind of concerned, okay? Because if the guy today wasn't pulling my chain and that he actually did see 3 aliens walking, and now it wasn't a main road. It was like one of these side roads, up by there in Oregon. Didn't look like they were, how can I say it? If they were there for friendly type of thing, they wouldn't be carrying some type of weapon. And they wouldn't be, I guess, scared to cloak themselves or make themselves vanish. That's what has me concerned. You might think that they vanished or cloak themselves, but they might still, they're going to still be right there most likely. Or maybe they teleported themselves back to their UFO. I don't have the slightest idea.
Yeah. And the fact that these missing time episodes happen to people as well doesn't bode real well. If indeed there are friendly aliens out there, you would think that they wouldn't necessarily need to keep people in the dark about what they're doing and going on. Matter of fact, you would think that they would want to make overt contact with people and just kind of get us used to their presence, and they don't seem to be doing that.
Well, look at the other thing. You have to look at it this way. You know how many people out there that do carry guns? And probably this guy does too. But, there are some people out there, if they saw an alien and they were really convinced they're an alien, they'd probably shoot at it. And the bad thing is, that's probably why maybe they do have weapons. Because, if you made an aggressive mood towards them, they're going to defend themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, that is fascinating to think that not only do they have the ability to cloak themselves and maybe continue their nefarious activities, but they have the ability to defend themselves and or menace others as well with weapons. That's a fascinating report, and that's from Tillamook, Oregon.
Yeah, now a question is, have you Googled, is there any, between, was it Newburgh, Oregon, and Tillamook, is there any military bases around there in Oregon? National Guard, military, Air Force, anything? I haven't even thought about that.
You know what I'll do is I have the map right now, and I'm going to zoom in just to see if there's anything that shows up on the map. But right now, it looks like...
How about nuclear power plant? Anything like that? Anything? It has to be...
Yeah.
I don't think they would... Hey, let's land over here by the ocean and do some sightseeing and look at some lighthouses. I just don't... Or maybe we're going to get some Tillamook cheese, and ice cream. I don't know. I don't think that would be the reason why they would go near Newberg, Oregon, or Tillamook, Oregon, or anywhere. I think it has to be something there. It would draw them. I mean, why would they just go there? I mean, unless they're sightseeing.
Well, the Tillamook State Forest is a mountain range, basically, kind of part of the Cascades that come right down past Tillamook to the east, because Tillamook is almost on the coast. So there is a major state forest in this area, in between Newberg and Tillamook. And then there is, after that, even a little bit more east than the mountains, before you get to Newberg, there's a giant desert, eastern Oregon scrubbush kind of area too. So
no nuclear power plants at all or anything like that.
Nothing that I can see right now. No.
How about military bases or anything like that?
Yeah, there's nothing listed that I see in that area, other than, matter of fact, there is a dearth of any kind of civilization there in this one area. It's almost like if you went to eastern Washington and drove out there for miles and miles without coming across any towns or rest areas for a couple hundred miles.
No, then my only other thought would be, abductions, harvesting people or something, because that is a tourist area all around Tillamook. Newberg, Oregon, if I, remember right, is a tourist area. And, certainly the 101 area, a lot of people, go up and down the road. And like I was mentioning before, we were talking like the missing in the national forest. It's just so many people have disappeared. Just wonder how many people maybe went out hiking in that state forest, or, doing what they camping or whatever. Maybe go there and maybe being harvested. I don't know. I don't understand why, there would be a report from 2 weeks ago and here this weekend of aliens in that type of area, unless it was, abductions or something like that, because, this is the time of year people are going out camping, hiking, and all that stuff.
Yes, you're right. There's more people out in the wilderness at this point during the year than any other time. And you're correct, Gary, that Tillamook, Oregon is exactly on Highway 101, which goes up and down the coast, right on the water of the Pacific Ocean there. So that's Tillamook is very close to, right on Highway 101. Newberg is basically close to I-5 and 99. That goes up and down, north and south as well. But there is a whole lot of nothing in between those two points on this map, where indeed they could be hiding in the forest or landing in the forests and or exploring. But it's interesting to find that they were both sighted, these two episodes of supposed alien sightings in populated areas of actual cities.
Well, I would say that, it wasn't in Tillamook, so I mean, it was, about 20 miles away from Tillamook from what he was saying. I was using Tillamook as a reference point. So, so it was basically, you go off 101 towards Tillamook, on whatever the road that is, and that's where him and his wife were heading, and, he saw these creatures, or these tall people, about 7 feet tall, and that his first thing in his mind is he didn't realize what it was. He saw their faces, and he got scared, and then stepped on the gas pedal, I guess, as hard as you can to get out of there. And that's when also he noticed that they vanished. But before they disappeared and cloaked themselves or whatever they did, he noticed they were carrying like some type of weapons.